Hi, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving and happy Black Friday. Don't forget, we do have a sale going on. So if you want to go ahead and take a look at our website, it's goldenspecs.com. So tonight we have our Golden Hour, which is our weekly series that my sister Angel and I have of conversations with people who inspire us. And today's guest is going to be Barun and Jen, all the way from Japan. So I want to welcome you two. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so
Hi
much for
guys.
having us. Such a pleasure.
Yeah, so this is awesome. Such a what is it? I think it's a 14-hour time difference. So especially with the daylight savings now, it would have been 13, but now it's 14. But
Sure.
we're so happy that you guys can join us, especially our audience too on this holiday. So we're very excited to get to know you two and your adventure thus far. So yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, who are you guys? What do you guys do? And just kind of an opening of what your values are so we can get to know you a little bit more.
Absolutely. So I'll start. My name is Barun. I'm Canadian. I've been living in Asia, in East Asia, for almost 11 years now. Yeah, of course, travel. I love traveling. I kind of basically have made it my entire life, my entire adult life. And yeah, and I like to share, that love of travel with others, which is something I've been doing as a tour guide and also as a travel writer online.
Yeah, and I'm Jen Ackerman, and from America, near Chicago, and I've been living in Asia for the last 6 years. I previously lived in Korea, where I met Nikki, and then Brune, and then now we live in Japan. So I've been living here for the last almost 4 years. I teach full time, but on the side, I do photography and work on our blog as much as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your blog handle? What's the name?
Good.
Yeah, it's barely traveling. So it's yeah. So it's actually a combination of our names.
Yep.
So the BAR for Barun, and Jen's full first name is actually Jennilee. So we took the last part, ILEE, from hers and made it barely traveling.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Yeah. So, wow, 11 years and about 6 years that you guys have been away from family and friends that are very close to you. How's that been? And how's just living abroad in general? What brought you guys there?
For me, it's been such a great experience. I think I've just like never looked back. Because I think for me, it's always just I've just always known that there's like a bigger world out there than just where I grew up, and I know that I can always go back to where I came from. But originally, I was doing my teaching degree, and there was an opportunity for me to student teach in South Korea. So I took up on that. It was only supposed to be 5 months, and I never went back. So
wow, that I didn't know. So it was only supposed to be in South Korea 5 months.
Yeah. So I was sent to South Korea with 9 other student teachers, and we were doing the talk program. Teaching elementary school part time. Yeah, and then once I finished, I graduated. But yeah, I just wanted to stay longer, and yeah, so that yeah, so I just never.
Is the talk program, is it private or public?
No, it's actually it is public. It's actually the sister program of EPIC.
Okay.
Yeah, the talk program at the time was only for like teachers that had like 2-year degrees, and it just like wasn't as much. The workload wasn't as much as EPIC.
Wow, cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right, because I was in that's how we all met. I was in South Korea. I taught English and I worked through a private agency with a 1-year contract. And I loved going on the weekends to these these expat is what they call it, expat tours everywhere around South Korea. So that's how I met Barun first, because he was a tour guide. And then Jen, I met you because you were also a participant in the tour. So right. That was awesome. Yeah, all right. And then what about you, Barun?
So I remember being in university, and just there's these posters everywhere that were saying, "Oh, teach English overseas," and I was like, that sounds really cool and not at all scammy, which is what all my friends tried to tell me. They're like, that sounds too good to be true. And I was like, no, I think it's legit. And so, yeah, I got my degree in my hand, and a month later, I was in Korea, small town Korea,
Wow.
teaching English on what was supposed to be a 1-year contract, but as many other expats will tell you, 1 year it turned into, well, 6.5 years in Korea. And then, I was first teaching, and then I discovered the same expat tours that Nikki was going on. I was a customer initially as well. And then the owner, I guess, he decided that I would make a really good guide. So after years of pestering me to become a guide, I finally agreed when I moved to Busan, the second biggest city of Korea. And I actually ended up being the regional director of all tours coming out of the south part of South Korea. And that's when I met Nikki. And then Jen as well. And yeah, it's been awesome since then.
Yeah. Do you remember what trip we were on when we all three met each other? I can't remember where we were. It couldn't have been Busan.
Did we go to Jinhae, Cherry Blossoms together?
Oh yes.
Yes.
I think that was probably the second one. The first one might have been, did we go, what was it, Jeju Island together or no?
No.
Okay.
I did the Jeju.
Okay. All right. Maybe it was the cherry blossoms. I missed the cherry blossoms there.
Yes,
It's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite trips for sure.
Yeah.
Because I met you.
Yeah. And it's so awesome. Breen, you do such a great job. That's why I'm sure that the director was pestering you to do it. Like, you're just full of energy, and you make everybody feel so included. And it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, that was one of the things that really bothered me. It's like I didn't like not being included in something. So like that's something as an adult I try really hard to do. And anytime when I'm with people, like even just a group of friends or something, I just try to make sure that everyone's being included.
A great host.
I try.
So you both currently teach full-time in Japan. Am I correct?
I teach full-time. You're more part-time.
Well, so I haven't worked a full-time contract in almost 9 years, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, because going back to values, one of the things that I really value is like my mental health and having like a very to reduce my stress, basically. So I find there's a lot of problems that can transfer into like physical problems that are based from stress. So I try to minimize that, and I've done that by working part-time contracts, which actually have turned out to be more financially, viable for me than full-time contracts have historically. So, and it's given me a lot more free time, of course, so a lot less stress, and many opportunities, actually. So, for example, when we moved here, I had a part-time teaching job, and I started tour guiding here as an Airbnb experience host, which is Airbnb's relatively recent tourism kind of chapter. So, and that was a phenomenal success. Really for 2 years, before the current situation. So it was absolutely phenomenal. Skyrocketing.
That is awesome. Where are you guys currently located?
We're in Osaka. Yeah.
Osaka. Awesome. So that's like all the way down at the south, right? Kind of.
Well, so they call it Western Japan, but technically if you looked at a map, it's almost like center of Japan. Yeah, it's quite central. It's technically by population, it's the third largest city, but by status, it's the second largest city in Japan. Because so Tokyo being number one, and Osaka has an international airport, and a lot of people come into Osaka for tourism, and then also Kyoto. Have you ever been to Kyoto?
Yes, I love Kyoto.
Right? Gorgeous. So Kyoto's just an hour away by train. So a lot of people jump into Osaka to get to Kyoto and other places. So
Yeah.
I love
Make it a
this.
little bit more convenient. Yeah, I went on like a week trip, a solo trip before I left teaching in South Korea to Japan because it's so safe for like a solo traveler, especially as a female,
Yeah.
traveler too. So I went to Tokyo all the way down to Kyoto and then Osaka, and then I went back home. So
Nice.
that was convenient. Yeah,
Wow. Cool.
loved
Yeah.
it.
So like you saw like how gorgeous Kyoto is. Kyoto's the whole reason
So
I even
beautiful.
decided to move to Japan in the first place. Because like I came here on a vacation before I met Jen, and I just fell in love with Kyoto, and I told myself like I have to live in Kyoto at least once in my life. So
Yeah.
actually, when I met Jen, I pretty much told her at the very beginning, I was like, hey, FYI, I'm going to be moving to Japan sometime in the near future. So if you want to come with me, that'd be cool. But
I had a hard think about it.
Right?
No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, it's been really great. It was an easy transition, I would say, from going to Korea to Japan.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it has a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences too.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. So if you guys are not teaching on the weekdays, what do you guys do, or on the weekends, I mean, what do you guys do on the weekends?
Yeah, I think we try to keep a pretty balanced, like some weekends, like we'll just be completely like homebound. We'll just, like chill at home. But then I would say like quite regular, probably like twice a month. We try to just get out and see like a different part of Japan that we haven't seen yet. Currently, we're trying to make it our goal to go to all 47 prefectures. So we are. Oh, the prefectures are like a state. Yeah, and so it's just like a different part of Japan. But yeah, currently we are on
We're going to number 41 next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And where's that?
So, it's it's a place called Yamaguchi.
Yeah,
so
near Hiroshima.
Yeah, very close to Hiroshima. You're right. Yeah. So it's very famous for like beautiful autumn leaves because that's coming that's going to be at the end of November is like the peak for autumn leaves in Japan. So yeah, we're really excited for that. But the big trip that I'm personally excited for, which is going to be maybe it's going to be in spring, is we're going to rent a camper van and spend 2 weeks touring the last 6 prefectures all in one go. So yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
very awesome.
And what season's that going to?
And that's gonna be in the best season in Japan, which is spring, which is gorgeous cherry blossoms absolutely everywhere. So
wow, can't wait to see it. So if we're wanting to see any pictures or any if in the future, so sad because I really wanted to go to the Olympics in Japan this year, but obviously it's not going to happen, and I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe another 10 more years from now. Me and my sister had planned to go, but with the pandemic, it's okay. So if someone wants to visit Japan, and knowing that you guys have your Barely blog, and you guys have a YouTube, don't you?
No, not really.
I made that up. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so what do you guys have on your blog that people can reference on?
Well, so we actually really like to visit places that are a little bit off the beaten path. So I mean, there's a ton of information out there if you're looking for information on Tokyo or Kyoto, right? It's just endless and endless. But so instead of just piling onto that, we've decided to look at things that a little bit more authentic Japanese experience. So for example, there's a prefecture called Okayama. We've been there several times, partially thanks to Japan Tourism Board, who have invited us to go there on several trips, cultural experience trips. And just really going to these small rural areas or farmlands and doing crazy stuff like doing like pottery or
rice,
you know,
or like rice harvesting.
Harvesting rice, like
and
you know,
and we'll stay with like the locals, and they are just so welcoming. It's just so much. It's just so different than being in like the touristy, I guess, parts of Japan that people usually focus on. You just get to really see the real Japan. I would say more authentic experience.
Yeah, like one of my favorite things that we did was we got invited. We were the first non-Japanese people to be invited into this kitchen run entirely by grandmothers, and we got to cook with them. They showed us how to do it and let us cook in their kitchen. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And food was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially from grandmothers. Any food from grandmothers is great. That is so cool. What an experience that you guys have. How do you guys get these kind of gigs, or like people reaching out to you?
Well, so one thing that Japan's really good for is they'll have these monitoring trips quite often where like certain like say like rural cities, they want to attract tourists, and they're trying to build like a tourism structure, but they don't know what would appeal to non-Japanese people. So they put out these like invitations. Hey, like we need 10 people to come, and it'll cost you nothing. We'll pay for even transportation. And at the end of it or throughout the trip, we just need you. We're going to sit down and ask for your opinions. Was this good? What should we do? And so on. So yeah, we've been able to go on all these like awesome free trips and, you know, experience all these amazing things over the past 3.5 years.
And I would say we just kept getting invited back because of your experience as a tour guide. And then also I do the photography on the side, so I think just the combination, it just works out pretty well for them. So we got pretty lucky, I think.
Like if you've seen, like if you go on our blog, or actually we're much more regular with updating our Instagram, so daily I keep track of that. So that's at Barely Traveling. It's like if you look at Jen's photography, it's like she's got some really phenomenal,
stunning. So stunning. So, have you always been into photography?
No, actually. I had a camera that I brought with me to Korea. But yeah, I would say probably when I started going on your trips, when I really took like a big interest. And then after that, I just kept taking pictures and just like kind of self-taught myself. And then we did the big Southeast Asia trip.
Because you have been featured in a lot of different South Korean and Japanese magazines and articles and things like that. Like, where have you been? Like the photos?
The photos that I took, I've won a few competitions from Korea Tourism Organization.
And that's a huge organization.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's the national government.
I did, we did several blog posts for Vietnam tourism as well at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Self-taught. That is amazing work. It's like even right now, me and my sister starting this business, this Goldyn Specs business. Everything is self-taught, and we are learning, and there's just so much to learn. But it's all been, just wonderful and great experience. So that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a brave new world, right? Like that's basically our generation. I feel like a lot of things.
Yes.
Just exploring new boundaries.
Yeah, definitely. So, what do you guys plan to do? Do you guys plan to still stay in Japan, go back home, or travel?
I think travel is always on our horizon. I don't think that's something that we will ever stop as long as we can. We are mobile.
Basically.
But I think so you've been in abroad for almost 10 years, or maybe 10 years
almost 11.
Almost 11, and I've been gone for 6 years. So I think our goal is next to just go back home for a little bit, stay with our families and catch up over back home. But I think we're always thinking about what the next step, and I think maybe the next step is UAE. We're exploring that option. That
was actually something that we were technically almost did this year. She got a solid job offer from Abu Dhabi, from an international school in Abu Dhabi. And last December, so about a year ago, she was literally like, they were like, we want you.
Yeah.
And she was just like, yes or no, kind of like, and then at the last second, we decided, you know what, let's postpone it by a year. And then luckily we did that because, you know, she wouldn't have been able to go anyways. Yeah. So
it would have been hard to go right now.
I'm a very strong believer that everything happens for a reason. Like I've always believed that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that was a very good example, saying no to that and sticking it out here. Because although like different countries are having different stances on like how to deal with this pandemic, Japan currently, like, it's almost like life as normal. Like we go to our jobs every day, which, and you know, there are safety measures. Like everybody here wears masks basically, right? And you know, we check temperatures every day, students and teachers alike. And you know, like, so yeah, like on one hand, okay, maybe it's a little bit riskier than say quarantining, but on the other hand, we're really fortunate to be making money, you know, and like being able to pay our rent. So yeah, it's you know, pros and cons here. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. No, that's awesome. So the UIE is still did I say it right? UAE? UAE. Oh my goodness. Is that still in the plan, right? For you too?
Yeah.
I think compared to like Korea and Japan, like in terms of like safety, it's actually quite really quite safe. They've definitely gotten more or what do you call it, less conservative, I guess, like slowly. Like I think people have this assumption of like the Middle East as being a country that would be really hard to adjust to, but yeah, I think that UAE especially, well, only just like less than 30 days ago, they lifted the requirement. So the requirement was that unmarried couples cannot cohabitate, like cannot even stay in the same location together. And they just lifted that policy less than 30 days ago. Because I think the UAE is made up of, I want to say like 80 or 90% just expats. So they're very UAE or Dubai specifically. UAE. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's literally a country for expats.
So, wow, everything happens for a reason.
Right?
Yeah. Good timing. Surprisingly, because actually now we're like, because I will be going back to Ottawa and spending some extended amount of time in Ottawa for the first time in 11 years, come this spring. And Jen, we were like kind of playing with the idea of, Jen was like, I don't know, it might be cool to live in Canada for like a year, like, you know, together. And I was like, that'd be pretty cool. So now we're actually like, it's actually kind of hard for a non-Canadian to come to Canada and be able to work. So I actually need to like maybe have a chat with like an immigration lawyer or something like to figure this out.
Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting. Okay. But I would be like you too, Jen. I'll be like, let me live in Canada for just a few months, maybe even a year.
Right? Yeah. Probably
Ottawa. Where's Ottawa? I don't know my geography.
Ottawa. Well, it's almost a straight line north of New York City. 6 hours straight drive.
Oh, okay. So on the east. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Because I've only been to Toronto and Windsor, because I used to live in Michigan. So Detroit and Windsor is like right across from each other. Very
so
cool.
if you were going from like Michigan, the direction you drive to get to Toronto, you keep driving 4 more hours, and that's
on the same highway.
It's 416. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. All right. When you guys are back home, let me know. I'll come and visit. So exciting. It's been a few of my old friends back in South Korea I still keep in touch with too. So a few of them live in Vancouver, Minnesota, and other areas. So it's I've yet to visit them, but maybe one of these days.
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm like, when things go back to normal, I've always thought like, if I go back to North America to spend some time, that I'll like, you know, maybe spend like a month traveling around North America, visiting all these friends that I've made, you know, in Korea and in Japan. so many North American expats like love to come over here and teach English or do other jobs, which is really great.
I wonder how the process is now, because I know the process to teach abroad was quite extensive, but it wasn't that crazy strict. So I'm wondering if it's strict now and selective.
Yeah,
definitely more selective. Yeah, I've definitely read some articles. It's definitely way more selective. I think even Korea, like, they may have canceled like their incoming participants. What would have been probably like the March or August intake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had posted them.
One thing though that has been overturned is, maybe you remember, we would have to submit a health check, particularly a blood test to prove that we didn't have like AIDS or something. That was actually overturned because a very brave Australian expat, she challenged the system. She was like, this is discrimination, which technically it is. And she challenged the system, and after like years, she won. And that's so we actually got it returned. Yeah, so that's really cool.
Very, very cool. I don't remember having to take one of those. Maybe because I went through a private agency, or maybe I just don't remember. It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Been a while.
So, but anyways, so we are approaching, 4 more minutes.
Wow, that went
until
fast.
30 minutes. I know, right? Conversation goes by really, really fast, and it's been awesome just catching up with you guys too. But is there any closing statements, anything that you guys want to say to the audience?
Boy.
Well, do you want to start? Well, okay. Well, I'll start then. So I just find, so when I hit my 10-year anniversary of being abroad, I just had a little reflection, and one thing I would just say is, like, life is what you make of it, right? So that's something that I live by. Things that are out of my control, okay, great, I can't control them, but the attitude that you have towards those things can help shape, how you handle it and how that thing progresses along, right? But the things that you can control, right, try to make the best of it, right? So I have the luck and the freedom to be able to control where I live, what kind of jobs I work, or like not make excuses. And so, I try to make the best of it. And that's just my personal kind of value. What about you?
I think for me, it's just the idea of just like not looking back. I think when I left originally to go to Korea, it was something that, of course, was just like it was a very scary idea. But I think who I've grown as a person since then, I think, it just really pushed me to just like be on my own. And I think I just would not have had all this experience if I didn't just think that, just do it. This is like your one opportunity. So when you have it, you can just take that opportunity. And yeah, I think I just don't live with regret. I mean, I know that's pretty cheesy, but but I mean, I really don't, like all the experiences that I've had since then. I think everything, like you said, just happens for a reason. And just go for it. Yeah.
She's super,
I love it.
Way more than me. So yeah, I totally see that. Yeah.
I love it because it's so true. I agree. It's like we were so young too when we first started teaching abroad. So can you imagine living on your own, away from your family, your friends, and all the support group that have always been with you? And just it was like a fun and exciting, but also like a lonely time in my life when I was in South Korea. I'll be honest with you. And with those opportunities, you never know what experiences you guys are gonna have, and you guys met each other too. And then Barun, you again, like, you bring so much energy and light, and I think that's why people are so attracted to you and so drawn to your energy. And so, like, with you, with your closing statement, it fits so well with you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's my computer. Sorry.
That's okay. It's just a reminder to tell us that we need to wrap this up. But thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for being my guest and the audience joining in with us on Black Friday. Again, happy holidays to everyone. And we will meet again. Like I told my sister, I wanted to do like, have you guys seen Oprah where are they now?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of like maybe a next 2 more years or something series where I want to re-interview you guys to see where you guys are. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. That's an exciting idea. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you again. And we will talk soon. All right,
Thanks
guys.
so much. Our pleasure. Thanks, Vicky. Bye.
Bye.